Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli, the computer guy, here for the Daily Blob with some good news. Do you like picnic tables? Awesome, great. We're gonna take 6 of you and shove you at one picnic table, and that is where you're gonna be doing your work from now on. And that is gonna make you a more effective technology teammate. Oh, Lordy. I think the funny thing doing technology for almost 30 years. We're coming up on 2026. I can almost say 30 soon. I started in 1996. I think one of the interesting things is just seeing how the paradigm around how you're supposed to work has changed over the years, right? So I got my MCSE back in 2000. It was all cube farms and offices. So we were moving away from offices to cube farms. And so previously, the generation before me, they had offices, and then they figured out cube farms were a more efficient use of facility space, so they started moving us into cube farm, right? Cube farm hell is what we called it. What our bosses called it was more efficient workplace environment or whatever. So anyways, we all came to cube farm. When you come to the cube farm, like the cubes are actually pretty decent size. So an office actually had a door and all that kind of stuff. But if you looked at the cubes from 2000, my God, it would bring a tear to most modern employees' eyes. Like, what the cube was probably about like 4 or 5 feet of desk this way, about 3 feet of desk this way. You had storage area up here, and you actually had like half-size walls. So you actually had like square footage. Anyways, past that, right, you get to the late, like 2008, 2009, and all of a sudden, open workspaces become the thing. Obviously, Eli, obviously, this is the proper way to work. And so instead of having cubes, instead of getting your pathetic little 30 square feet of your space, basically everybody just has to go grab a desk in this big open environment that has no acoustic soundproofing or anything else, and will just literally drive you insane. Like, it's really interesting to think about this. When I started in the corporate world, we did not have noise-canceling headphones. I'm gonna tell you something shocking for the kids out there. Back in the day, you could go to work and the noise level in your office space was not so fucking loud it drove you out of your mind. You could actually go to your office space and just sit there and work with your cup of coffee. Oh! But anyways, right, we got to this whole open office space thing, and I go into those, I'm like, how the hell do people survive? And then it all showed me these $200 noise canceling headphones that they would have to put on. Because if that is not proof of how well designed that office space is, I don't know what is. Anyways, then you go from that, then you go to collisions in 2015. Everybody's supposed to collide all the time. And then we get to COVID, and we're told, obviously, everybody should work from home. So we go from everybody sharing a fucking picnic table to colliding 50 times a day to everybody working from home. Anyways, it's just been curious to watch this thing. And now we have the whole return to office mandates because, hey, it's 2 years later, so reality has changed. What was obvious 2 years ago is no longer obvious now. And we're getting more and more people coming back to the office. I think for the most part, this actually makes sense. I never understood the work from home thing at scale, at mass. Telecommuting makes sense. Having 10, 20% of your employees telecommute, I do actually think it makes a lot of sense. Having all of your employees work from home, I think is kind of idiotic. The whole question of how do you create culture, how do you create community, how do you make sure everybody is doing the stuff that they're supposed to be doing, all that kind of stuff is a real big question mark there. But what's interesting to see is how these companies are now trying to change the work from home mandate to the return to office mandate, but do it in such a way that it makes them sound good, right? The other way was obviously bad. The other way was obviously bad. This is obviously good. And this is where we get from Microsoft. So Microsoft's official blog, where they start using a lot of fancy words to talk about the new employment paradigm. Flexible work update from Amy Coleman, Executive Vice President, Chief People Officer. How we work has forever changed. I remember starting at Microsoft in the late 90s, always in the office, no laptops, and primarily working with the people right down the hall. As technology evolved and our business expanded, we became more open, more global, and able to scale in ways we couldn't have imagined. Then the pandemic reshaped everything. It pushed us to think differently about work, to connect like never before, remind us of how much we value being together, and gave us focus and autonomy in the traditional workday. We're not going back, and we shouldn't. Instead, we should take the best of what we've learned and move forward. Don't worry, we're not going back. We're just doing this. We're just doing this. We're not moving back. I am not moving backwards. In the AI era, we are moving faster than ever, building world-class technology that changes how people live and work and how organizations everywhere operate. If you reflect on our history, the most meaningful breakthroughs happen when we build on each other's ideas together in real time. So you're going to start seeing this more and more in the technology world. The concept that you work better when you're together in real time. And honestly, I don't disagree with this. And all snark aside, for the most part, I don't disagree with this. You need to have office environments where people don't have to put in noise-canceling headphones in order to be able to think straight. Right? Don't get me wrong there, right? You do need to create environments where people can actually work, that they're not colliding all the time, that they spend all of their time talking and none of their time coding. But the thing is, like, when problems come up, it's important to be together. The whole idea of collisions, right? Back in the days of doing tech support and the rest of it, right? You go to the coffee room. Back when we used to have coffee rooms, you go into the break room, the coffee room, you grab a cup of coffee, warehouse worker comes in, you're like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, just question. You know those new Zebra scanners we just deployed for you folks? Yeah, those pieces of shit. Fuck. Oh, why are you calling him a piece of shit? Well, because X, Y, or Z, because they keep losing connection, and every time I'm trying to scan in an order, it will lose the order halfway through, so it's taking me 3 times as long to be able to actually process an order than it did before. And you're like, oh, crap. Maybe these new Zebra things, maybe they... All right, the RF range isn't as long as the old RF range is. I guess we need to install new access points. Right, that's the kind of stuff that you get from collisions and from talking with people, being around people. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm using this framework. Why should you oh, that's a good way of doing things, right? That kind of stuff is actually important. I do think it's funny here how they're trying to phrase it though. Because what we heard from everybody just a couple of years ago was obviously work from home is the only way to do things. We've looked at how our teams work best, and the data is clear, right? They're using data here. Data doesn't lie. Can't be manipulated though. When people work together in person, more often they thrive, they are more energized, empowered, and they deliver stronger results. So again, think about how this is being sold. As we build the AI products that will define this era, we need the kind of energy and momentum that comes from smart people working side by side, solving challenging problems together. With that in mind, we're updating our flexible work expectations to 3 days a week in the office. We'll roll this out in 3 phases, starting in Puget Sound at the end of February, expanding to other U.S. locations, and then launching outside of the U.S. Our goal with this change is to provide more clarity and consistency in how we come together while maintaining the flexibility we know you value. We want you to continue to shape your schedule in ways that work best for you, making in-person time intentional and impactful. Importantly, this update is not about reducing headcount, it's about working together in a way that enables us to meet our customer needs. This isn't about reducing headcount. I mean, if a crap ton of people decide to quit, we're so sorry, but it is definitely not about that. It is kind of funny when they have to come out, like in their official announcements, they have to say, this isn't about eliminating employees. What you need to know. I do find this to be interesting too, and it's going to be a curious thing with the whole moving from work to home, from work from home to return to office, is that many people have moved further and further away from offices, especially if you go to like Seattle. So my wife and I, in 2015, we traveled around the country. We actually got a apartment in Seattle for about 2 months. We were there for about 2 months, and we really thought about relocating to Seattle. One of the reasons we decided not to relocate to Seattle is that traffic is just a crap show. So we lived on Green Lake. So we had an apartment on Green Lake, and literally you could like look out of our apartment and see downtown Seattle. So it seemed great. Like downtown Seattle was like 2 miles away, like literally 2 miles away. You can literally see it. The issue is that there's water. So between where we were and where downtown Seattle is, there's like the Puget Sound or whatever. So there's some bridges and things you have to go over. And the issue is although I could see downtown, when you left the house, it took 45 minutes to get downtown. The other issue you ran into, right, there's this idea of like, oh, you go to Seattle, since my wife and I, we like to hike and do all that kind of stuff. Hey, you can live in Seattle and then you can escape to the mountains. Motherfucker. It would be 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and it would be bumper to bumper rush hour, bumper to bumper traffic. All right, that's just the reality of Seattle. Like I've said, like if something happened to my wife, I could imagine basically having a really nice condo down in Pioneer Square and then having some office space somewhere, and basically in the morning going down, grabbing my cup of coffee, going to my office, doing my stuff during the day, coming back down, going to a restaurant, going to happy hour, and then going back up to the condo. Like I'm not actually anti-Seattle, but that's how you live in Seattle. Your condo is here, your job is here. You have beer and coffee and whatever drugs you need in the middle, right? And so that's the thing. It's a lot of this work from home. What we were told about work from home is that work from home is here forever, right? It is the way to do business in the modern world. Some of us have been saying that's horse shit for 5 years. But anyways, what's curious now is that as people have moved out, right? If you think work from home is permanent, you may not go to the other side of the country or the other side of the world, but you might start moving out, right? Hey, instead of living like in Seattle, maybe I'll live in Bellevue. Instead of living in Seattle, maybe I'll live in Tacoma. If instead of living in Seattle, maybe I'll get, a nice cabin, up in the, what the fuck those mountains are called or whatever, right? And that's the idea. Like, if I need to go into the office, I'm still close enough that I can drive into the office, but I definitely don't want to be doing that shit every day. And so that's what's interesting here with Puget Sound employees. If you live within 50 miles of a Microsoft office, you'll be expected to work on site 3 days a week. By the end of February 2026, you will receive a personalized email today with more details. And what's important about this is 50 miles. 50 miles. That means if you're driving 60 miles an hour, it will take you 50 minutes. So from when you grab a cup of coffee to when you get in the car to when you get in the parking lot to when you get into your office, if you're 50 miles away, that is going to be at least an hour, at very least an hour. And now remember what I was talking about the Seattle area. One of the reasons we decided not to go there is because on Saturday afternoon, it's bumper to bumper traffic. So if you live 50 miles away, boy, you ain't driving 60 miles an hour. I don't give a shit how fast your Tesla can accelerate from 0 to 60. You're going to be doing 35, right? And so think about people that moved out to a distance that they could drive to the offices, but is pretty far out. They're now being told they have to come into the office 3 days a week. That is a snit show. That is a snitty shit show. Because you think about it, you got a wife, you got a spouse, you got kids. Think about that if you have kids, right? You have kids, you put them in the school system that's out there. They have places to run and breathe clean air and all that kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden you're looking at an hour-and-a-half commute each way at least 3 days a week. That is a hell of a thing. So anyways, so this is what Microsoft is currently doing, and basically what everybody is doing. The main takeaway from this is, I would argue, is stop believing these jackasses. Stop believing these jackasses. When I scream about this shit, when I was screaming in 2020 about this whole idea of work from home being the future, being asininely stupid, I wasn't doing that because I have a personal bias on it. I was doing that because if you look at business and you actually do what the fuck we do, you understand that human interaction is important. The amount of human interaction is a question, the whole 9 yards, but human interaction is important. Everything from mentoring young people, so the seniors mentoring the juniors, to the seniors learning how the fuck to mentor, to a whole bunch of other stuff, right? A lot of that you require in-person interaction. The idea that work from home was going to be the future was idiotic on the face of it, and that's why I was screaming about it 5 years ago being stupid. And that's the important thing to be thinking about with these companies, is when they put out stupid policies, make sure you don't put yourself into a crappy position that could basically destroy your life in a heartbeat when your CEO decides that they're going to change something. Right? All of a sudden, work from home is no longer the cool thing. Everybody's going back to the office, right? If you stayed within 20 miles of your office, 20 miles, again, even in Seattle, that's going to be a commute. But if you stay within 20 miles of the office, okay, you got to go back to the office. It's a shitty commute. You don't want to do it, but you probably can. Man, you go out to 40, 45, 50 miles from the office, all of a sudden you're being told to return to work. That is a miserable, miserable life. And then what do you do? What do you do when you made decisions because you trusted people that swore that they could see the future? Distrust, verify, stay suspicious, and never, never stop being snarky. That is my advice. Why is Eli so snarky all the time? Because I can tell you, the people that screwed me hardest, the people that screwed me the fucking hardest in life were the ones that were supposed to have my back. Were the people that were supposed to be looking out for me. And instead, God knows what fucking advice they gave. Just shit shows. And that's professional. That's not like personal. It's professional too. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing what garbage advice professionals will give you simply because they want to look cool. Right? If everybody else is saying work from home, they'll say work from home too because they want to be a cool kid. They will just lockstep say the same dumbass shit that anybody with fucking 2 brain cells and has been in this industry for a decade would understand is asininely stupid. So anyways, so what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Are you a Microsoft employee that lives 49 miles away from the office? How's your day going today? Yeah, what do you think about the death of the work from home, the rise of the return to office mandate, and now how it's being pushed that this is a better way to do work? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing, call me a moron. Just do it like a real alpha dog down there in the comment section. Do you remember SiliconDojo.com exists, still alive? We're going to start doing in-person classes in Durham, North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina, and we're doing fireside chats. We have Kyle, the CEO founder of Huntress, a $2 billion cybersecurity company. He is going to be coming on for a fireside chat in early October. So if you're interested in any of that, you can go to SiliconDojo.com. You can sign up for free, and then you get our newsletters. With that, that's all I got. See y'all later.